Hi, my name is Błażej and I'm the designer of Shadowscape. In this short overview video, I would like to tell you a little bit about how the game is played. So let's go to the table and delve into Shadowscape. To start the game, you first need to set up the dungeon and the cards around it. To set up the dungeon, first identify the corner cards. That's easy because they're double-sided. Then shuffle the rest and create a 5x5 grid, putting the corner cards in the corners. Then place your heroes on the corner cards. If you're playing with fewer than 4 players, you can simply choose the corners you want to start from. Then also place the enemy and treasure tokens. Each enemy on the back has a symbol, so you place them on the layers you want them to start on, and then you also place treasures on the treasure symbols. Apart from that, draw and place 4 whisper cards, 4 skill cards, 4 items, and you can also place the enemy reference cards next to the board. If you're playing the base version, you won't be using the special abilities, but if you're playing the advanced games, the special abilities will also be used. To set up a hero, first choose a hero, and then take all 4 skill cards belonging to that hero, and you can identify them by the symbol that corresponds to the one you will find on the hero card. Place them on any side and then draw fate cards. You need to draw a number of fate cards as shown by your hero card, in this case 3. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3 cards. Now your hero is ready to play. During your turn, you always have 2 actions available. In order to perform an action, simply choose one of your cards and either perform the action that is written on the card, or you can also perform movement. When you perform movement, you're using the number of movement points as written on your hero card. So let's move now. Let's say I choose this card and I need to mark that this is the card that's going to be used because I cannot use the same card twice during a turn. Every action can also be boosted. In order to boost the action, remember we started with a number of fate cards. In this case, to move, I would need to expend some movement symbols. So if I wanted Fengray to move 2, I would discard this card with a symbol, or maybe even 3 I could keep discarding. But in our case, I just want him to move 1 because I will want to attack an enemy later. Now, after you're done with the action, take the action card, flip it to the other side. This always happens when you move or when you perform the action from the card itself. So we move into this space and, well, we have to stop. Every time you move and enter an enemy space, you have to stop even if you have more movement points or boosted your action. That means we will need to actually eliminate this enemy. Luckily, we have still our second action, so let's take a look. In order to eliminate this enemy, we will need to attack it with 4 damage, as it is said here. This action deals 3 damage, which is pretty good, but not yet quite there. When you are using the text of an action, the action will always tell you what kind of symbol you need in order to boost it. This enemy needs 4 damage, so I'm going to discard a card with the same action symbol to bring the 3 damage to 4. The enemy is eliminated, I take it off the board and into my hero area. Okay, let's now say that I actually entered a space that contains a treasure token. In order to pick up a treasure token, you need to find it, and each treasure token will tell you how much search you need. Search is also an action. I have an action card here that says search 1. Again, that is not enough, but I can boost the action, so I will. 1, 2, 3. That's a total of 4 search, which means that I can pick up this treasure. Okay, so your turn has ended, and after a hero ends their turn, what you need to do is you need to draw another fate card and look at the enemy symbol at the bottom. All enemies with that symbol will then move. So in this case, all enemies like these would have to move around the board. Let's take a look at how this guy would actually move on the board. It's time to move this enemy, and Every enemy has a number of symbols that will show you how to guide that enemy through the dungeon. In this case, starting with this enemy, we're looking for this symbol, and it's here. So he's going to move here. Now the next symbol is actually here, so we're going to continue into this room, and finally there is this little lightning which will guide him here. That means that the enemy is ending his turn in a space with a hero, so the enemy will attack the hero. It's time for the enemy to deal some damage. This enemy deals 3 damage. Fangray has 2 defense, so I would need to place 1 wound either on the hero card, which has 2 spots for wounds, or on any of the action cards. Now, if I place this on an action card, the action card becomes unavailable to use. But luckily, as with every action, I can also boost defense. So if I played this card, this would boost Fangray's defense to 3, which means that he would suffer no damage. If at any point there are no more spaces available for damage, you simply don't take any more, but there is not much you can do. You would have to heal very quickly. Apart from your actions, there are also 2 other things you can do during your turn. The first one is to alter fate. To alter fate, simply play a fate card out of your hand and use the written effect. If you're playing cooperatively, use the top one. If you're playing competitively, use the bottom one. Simply follow whatever is written on the card to be able to use the effect. Another thing you can do on your turn is claim a card. Now, there are 3 types of cards to claim. There is equipment, there are action cards, and there are whispers. In order to take an equipment card, you simply need to discard any treasure token. Its value isn't really important. In order to take an action card, what you need to do is you need to discard either 2 or in this case 3 tokens, and these can be any tokens, so I could, for example, discard these 3 to take the new action. Finally, there are also whisper cards. Each whisper card will tell you exactly what you need to do in order to claim it. When you start the game, you create the deck of whispers, so you start with whispers that are worth 1 shard, then there are 2s, and finally you will reach a card with 3, which will also introduce into the game the Lord of the Dungeon. When the Lord of the Dungeon is killed by one of the players, the game ends. Everyone sums up their shards of shadow, and whoever has the most is the winner. Shadowscape can be played competitively or cooperatively. If you're playing cooperatively, be sure to flip the Lord of the Dungeon card to the cooperative side. Now, if you're playing cooperatively, the points don't matter. What you need to do is you need to be able to find and kill the Lord of the Dungeon before the deck of fate cards runs out. If you manage to do this, you win. If the deck really runs out before you slay the Lord of the Dungeon, well, that means you will have to return to Shadowscape again. Thank you for braving Shadowscape together. I hope you liked what you've seen, and, well, support us on Kickstarter. See you soon.